Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first podcast for I Don't Know Vlogs. My name's Rayhan.
I'm Ty.
I'm Nadir.
And I'm Awesome.
We are pleased to have the Delta Force officer, Nadir Zulfiqar, on our channel today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. We really appreciate taking time out of your day. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Mr. Zulfiqar?
Where do you want me to start?
Straight from the beginning, your childhood. We would
So
love.
I was born, it was like a rainy day. You want me to go that far? A little bit further than that.
Let's go a little bit.
Yeah.
further.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure how far you wanted to go. I really don't remember when I was born, so that was a little bit different time.
Same here.
So exactly. I was born in Pakistan. When I was 4 years old, my family put me into a British boarding school. So from 4 onwards, I lived there and went to school. When I was 14, I moved to US to go to school here, finish college. And I was very, very fortunate enough to be picked up by United States Military Academy at West Point in the class of 87. So I ended up graduating from West Point class of 87. As you know, West Point is not an easy place to go. It was challenging at first, but it was one of the best experiences of anybody's life.
Some people call West Point like the Harvard of military
Yeah.
academies. Do you agree with that?
It is one of the best military academy in the world. We actually, most people don't know, top students from different countries also are invited to West Point to study there.
Wow.
So every year we have about 1,000 plus graduates, give or take, depending on the class size. And out of that, maybe 20 to 30 people are from different countries. So it is the cream of the crop that go there. In the United States, the only way you can get in there is not just your grades. You have to have a letter from a sitting U.S. senator to be able to go there.
Wow.
Why the military, though? What drew you towards going to the military and pursuing the whole career and legacy that you created in there?
For me, when I was looking at a career choice, it was where do I want to go and do a service to the nation.
Absolutely,
The nation has been good to me, country has been great to me, this is my home. How do I pay it back?
Absolutely.
And the best way for me was to go in the service. Also, it was to challenge myself because in order to get into West Point, believe it or not, is as hard it is, it's only 20% of the challenge. Rest is surviving and learning to be a true soldier, but more importantly, how to be a gentleman and also bring out the best in you.
Exactly, yeah. That's
So
amazing.
going back to boarding school, since you were very young, do you remember any of the experiences you had over there?
It made you very confident because you're by yourself.
Yeah.
You don't have anybody. You don't
Yeah,
have
you're on
any
your
mama
own.
or papa to go
Yeah.
cry to or
Yeah.
saying, "Well, that boy was mean to me." You know,
Yeah.
you had to be the mean boy actually. You know, so that's how it was. But it made you confident. It also taught you that how to deal with everybody at a young age. You didn't cry. You just dealt with it. If there was a tough situation, you dealt with it. Somebody was mean with you, you dealt with it. You had to figure out how to tie your shoes. You had to learn how to stand in line, how to dress yourself. You dealt with it, and that really helped me in the future part of life because you don't complain because there's nobody to complain to.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I could run back and say, help me with this. There was nobody to help.
Were you there from like ages 4 to 18 all the way?
No, 4 to 14 because British high school is 10 grades, and after that it's called a prep school. So it was 14
Oh, wow.
in there.
Was it like a sort of military school in a sense?
No, just a boarding school, just a
Yeah,
British boarding
regular
school. I mean, it's a regular school. You lived there, you went to school, you got up in the morning, you had your PT, then you went to school, then you came back. Out of that, you did your homework, had some playtime, studied more, and slept in the same thing. And once a month, you could go home.
So, was anyone in your family in the military at all, or?
My father was in Pakistan Army, but he passed away when I was 3 years old, so I really didn't know him. But he was in Pakistan Army. But that did not. It had something to do with my influence to go to the military, but not always. It was for me. I've always been one of those people who excel in challenges. So when there's a challenge, I am ready for it. I want to see how far I can push myself. In life, it helps because what happens is people give up in life. They're like, "Oh, it's too hard." What is it too hard? Unless you try it, nothing is hard. Now, if you try and fail, at least I can say I tried it. But people just give up. And that's one something the boarding school and the military academy taught me, never give up. At least try it.
That's really good advice because I mean, like, especially with our generation,
Yeah.
there's kids like these days, like I'm sure with all of us, where they try something once and they're like, oh, I didn't do as good in it, or I failed. I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to pursue it. I'm not going to challenge myself even further. But that mentality of going further and excelling, I feel that lacks today, and that we as this generation should pursue that more.
You should pursue, and also look at it this way: failure is not an option.
Exactly,
Right?
yeah.
So what happens is people look at it and say, "Oh, I'll fail." When I tried for West Point, everyone, I want to say not 99%, 100% of the people said you will never get in there. I'm like, okay, I don't get in there. I don't get it. What did I lose? I didn't get in, right? There's nothing to be embarrassed about.
Yeah.
I tried, exercised, got ready, mentally, physically got ready, and applied. I got in. Okay, that was, everybody was still surprised. Oh, then the thing was, you're never going to make it. My issue wasn't, I was not going to make it. I was already planning on what I'm going to do after I graduate.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even in my mind that there's a chance that I will not make it.
Exactly.
There's a huge number of kids who go to West Point or any military academy who don't make it.
Yeah,
They drop out for
Correct.
whatever reason.
Yeah.
Nothing, no disrespect to anybody. This is going to happen. But you don't go in with that mindset. You go in with the mindset you are graduating. I was always saying, okay, when I graduate, I want to be in this unit. I want to be in this. And my instructors would say, how about you finish the first semester first, then worry about which unit you will be.
Yeah.
I remember my first semester, I was sitting down with the colonel and I'm like, so which unit do you think I should serve under? He's like, you been here how long? Oh, it's the first semester. How about you kind of wait and decide? I was like, no, let's talk about this. And they were surprised that somebody like me was saying that.
Yeah, like I feel like that's true in all education
Yeah.
systems. Like even in our school, like
Yeah.
teachers only want us to think in the present. They don't want us to look into the future and be ready for our future. They only want us to be ready for like
Yeah.
now, be here now.
Roger that. Yeah. So that's something the kids, every generation needs to learn, is you just don't give up and don't settle for something. I could have easily settled. I was already accepted at Berkeley. I was accepted in other universities. To me, it was like, I look back, I'm like, nah, this got to be better than that. Berkeley is a great university. I mean,
Yeah,
people would die to go to
yeah.
Berkeley. Stanford, great university. Ready to go there.
Top schools in the
Top schools. Both were accepted. I'm like, what else is there? What else is better than that? I want to push myself. If you don't push yourself, you don't know what your limits are. People say, this is my limit. Do you really know what your limits are? Till you are in the situation and you are pushed to the brink of it. And then you go 2 steps more. Then you go more. So you keep moving your bar further out. Because once you hit the bar, then you become lazy.
Yeah.
So you got to keep hitting. No.
Never
You got to
be
keep
complacent.
hitting more, keep hitting more, keep hitting more, keep hitting more. That's how you do it.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, so when going to West Point, like you keep saying, like you mentioned, like you keep on striving. So did you set goals like early ahead when you first attended?
So I went in there. A lot of people were, to give you an idea, a lot of people were choosing where they want to be after that, right? Which unit they're going to go. So everybody is coming up, hey, this was after the second year or so you started, your choices coming up there, right? You had to submit your choices. My choice was, I'm like, which unit do I want to go? Do I want to go to this unit, this unit, this unit? There's so many units out there, intelligence and this army unit, first ID, there are a bunch of units out there. 10th Mountain, 101st. So I went down there, I met this amazing colonel, Colonel James Nick Rowe. He was a POW in Vietnam for 5 years. Came back and was at Fort Bragg, but he had come to speak. I sat down with him, I'm saying, sir, which is the best unit in the United States Army? He said, well, they're all good. I'm like, nah, they're all great, but which one is the hardest to get in? He's like, well, he went through a couple of units, and he says, you know what, the hardest one is 82nd Airborne. They're the toughest unit. Every time there is a deployment with a fight, 82nd is the first one to get deployed. They are the police force of U.S. Army. They go out and fight. Like, okay, and thought about it. I'm like, that's what the unit I want to be. And on the patch, if there's an AA on it, that basically stands for All American, because it's one of the oldest units, one of the oldest units, and one of the toughest units out there. I'm like, that's the unit I want to be. And everybody's like, you know how hard it is to become an officer in 82nd? Because they're tough. I'm like, yeah. So what? Let's go for it. And that was my goal. What was your second option? None. No, you have to have a second and third option because everybody has to. You no chance. I'm like, no. So what would you do if you don't get your first shot? We'll worry about that later, because that was not even an option. I'm going to figure out how to get in there.
Yeah.
If I have to go, talk to somebody, do whatever, that was my goal. That was my first goal.
Well, what was your next goals after that then?
So I was fortunate enough to get commissioned with the 82nd. Got in as a second lieutenant. I go up there, getting the training done. I'm looking around. I'm like, this is good. This is fun. There's got to be more than this. And I'm standing there one day, and I see these two guys running around in a separate area, because I happen to be in that area. Longer hair, got a beard and a mustache and all that. And I'm like, I talked to my friend, who are those? Oh, they're special operations guys. Like, oh, special operations. I want to try that. Like, you're too young to try that because you have to be a certain. I'm like, yeah, but it says you are too young to be tried, but why can't I try? You're going to fail. I'm like, go for it. Tried, didn't even get selected. Honestly. Came back, everybody's actually told you you're not going to get selected. I'm like, yeah, I know what I failed. Let me rephrase. I retrained. I went with those guys on weekend nights with the special operations guys and actually worked with them. One of the guys who was a Dale was one of my friends, became friends later on. I would train with him. He would beat the hell out of me in training, and I was not even close. But I strived to be with him. And I trained, and then next selection came up. I got selected to be the Green Berets. I was like, yes. So I got in there. That's how it was. You never look back. I kept moving the bar forward. I never moved the bar back.
Yeah.
It was never an option that I'm not going to get in. My thing was, I am getting in the third. I am going to get in third SF. There's just no way I'm not going to get in there. If I would have failed 20 times, there's no limit how many times you can fail. I would have gone back again.
But how do you maintain that mindset? Like, sometimes we feel like in a project or something, and then we fall into that trap of like, I can't do this anymore. Like, how do you keep on moving up?
Honestly, it's tunnel vision. That's the goalpost. You're going to get there. You don't think about it. You don't get distracted. Your goal is that every day I'm going to go, whatever happens, I'm going to get to that point. There's a bunch of distractions that come in, right? Games, sports, TV, movies, that's great. Do that. Nobody's saying no. We actually had an amazing time. I mean, honestly, we were doing everything, like food, whatever you name it. But the focus was there. We focused, we trained together. And the key was having friends and people with you who were better than me. Because then I had to strive to catch up to them. Now, if I had to, in our army, whatever, in school, business, there are people who are settled. There were people who were like, hey, I'm here. I'm happy as second lieutenant. I'm going to become a lieutenant. I'm going to become a captain. I'm going to be a major. I'm done. I'm going to do my 30 years. I'm going to leave the army. I'm happy. Nothing wrong with that. Honestly, that's good for them. But I didn't hang around with people like that. I hung around with people who were tougher, who had already achieved. So I tried to be at their level. I was not at their level. But in order to be at their level, I had to work harder. When I got to the level, then I had to hit the next level. Then I had to hit the next level. That's what it was. There was no distraction in there. And again, going back, you have to have friends and mentors who are better than you are.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because if you're at the same level,
You're not
then
gonna perform at all.
they're not going to
Yeah,
perform.
you're not gonna progress.
You're going to say, hey, we already did this thing. We already hit this class. We already got a C. Let's just go up and enjoy life. Let's go.
Yeah, you can never be content at where you're at. You should always be striving.
I was
for
never
more.
content.
Exactly.
So do you ever feel there is a pinnacle of success, or there is
No,
never a
there
pinnacle
is not.
of success?
No. What success? I mean, define success. Success to everybody is different, right?
Yeah.
Success to somebody is, hey, I want to buy a car, and I consider myself successful. I bought this beautiful Mercedes. I'm successful. Great. That's just idea of success. Go with it. I want to make $100,000 a year. I want to make $200,000 a year. I want to make $1 million a year. But why limit yourself? Somebody asked me, what do you want to make? I don't know. As much as I can. And that's not being arrogant. It's just being, I want to keep making more.
Exactly.
Because if you want to make $100,000 a year, whatever the number is, $200,000, you're making it, you're happy with it, then what's there to live for life? What are you doing in there?
Yeah,
You're always
exactly.
striving for money.
Yeah, it's not. Then there's nothing to achieve. What do you live for? You live for the excitement of life, to be better. Every day you need to be better than that. And that's what strived me. So after that one, I met this gentleman. the same colonel that I met in West Point. Amazing gentleman. If you ever read a book, he has a book written called 5 Years to Freedom. Colonel James Nicro. 5 years he was in Vietnam as a prisoner. He was beat up every day. Still came back. That's who one of my instructors was. General Hal Moore. He was in the first battle of Vietnam. If you read about it, there's a movie made about him called We Were Soldiers. Tough guy. These were the guys. So I looked at it and they said, why don't you try for Delta? First Special Forces. It was like, a little bit tougher, boss. He's like, what's so tough? You keep talking about it. I said, 700 people normally apply for that position. 100 are selected.
Yeah.
6 graduate. 3 are accepted.
It's crazy.
You know what the number is? I tried twice. First time, didn't even come close. I didn't even come close. Second time, I made it. So that's how you do it. You just don't give up. And people, like I keep going back to it, people just give up and you don't. And that was, to me, that was reaching the pinnacle of the military career. And that's what it was for me. And if there was something else, I would have gone for something else. And it was nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with money. There's nobody joined the army for money, but it was more about finding your limits and being top of your field. Any business you go to, any field you go to, you should always strive to be at the top of that field. People say, I can't do this. Well, why not? What's wrong with you? Why can't you be at the top? There's somebody in your school who's going to ace it, right? Yeah. There was Bill Gates, other people, somebody out there who's going to hit the top of the field, right? Why can't be you?
100%. But with your military career, can you go into some context with it, like some of the missions that you may have gone into that like made you who you are today, in a sense?
That aren't classified.
No, it's not. It's just the thing was. There's a lot of places that I went. Afghanistan, which is all known, that the first war against the Russians was there. I was in Panama. I was in Somalia. I was in West Africa. I was in Chad, Libya. I was in Lebanon. I was in Philippines. So all of those places you went there, but they were all missions. I lost a lot of friends, as you guys already know. Lost a lot of friends, but that didn't make me go down. You can't let. There was no failure, but somebody who passed away, the mission still went on.
Absolutely, yeah.
So through all these missions you've gone through, do you feel like the mental aspect, like mental toughness, is a big part of it?
Mental toughness and also staying focused. More importantly, when you're mental toughness, you don't let things get to you. One of the missions, few of the missions, I got shot. Battle's still going on. You don't sit there and say, "Oh, excuse me, take a time out. I'm short. Can I take a 5-minute break, please? Thank you very much. Let's go. We'll be back here in 10 minutes." No, battle still goes on. So what it is, it's not mental. It's mental toughness and focus. Your mission is first and foremost. Losing somebody, unfortunately, is sad, but the mission still has to go on.
What is up, you guys? If you guys liked our video, make sure to hit that like button and comment down below. And if you guys want to watch the full-length podcast, our link will be in the description.